What's the motherfucking deal? Actually, y'all give me un segundo. I have to take care of one little thing. We're going to jump right into the motherfucking mix. And we gonna really make it shake. You know how we do it. It's fucking Friday. So go ahead and drop a couple of them fuckums in the chat. Whatever's been fucking with you so far this week. Make sure you get that out. Shout out to Breaking News Bray Bray and Upward Duck, a.k.a. Rising Phoenix. Y'all give me just one moment, and I'll be right.
Yo, did you mute yourself or no? I'm just asking.
Yes, I did mute myself, and now I have returned. All right, what's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? It's your boy, Ed Honcho. This is Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network, so that means we're talking all sports, but only Houston. We're going to cover a little bit of Rockets talk tonight, man. We're going to talk about some of the things that happened in the draft yesterday. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit of Texans action, too. We had a little bit of extra news that shook with that. And then we would like to say we just gonna make it shake, and then later on we will take some calls on the sauce line, all that good flavor. We're gonna spill it, splashed all kind of flavor all over that ass, motherfuckers. So what's going down? You already know how we start this thing off, man. First and foremost, we got to show y'all a little bit of love before we dive in it. The Sauce Nation motherfucking roll call. So if you're from the city, you should already know the rules. If you're new to this and true to this, that means you have to shout out your side with pride. I don't care if you're north, west, east, south, if you're on the brink, on the border, however you identify, however you represent, man, you're going to shout that out. But if you're not from the city, man, shout out your state, town, avenue, block, hood, cul-de-sac, circle, road, street, whatever, you know what I'm saying, however you get down, you know what I'm saying, like, just identify yourself, motherfuckers, and so we can show you some love. That's what it's all about, man. So with that being said, let's see who we got up in this bitch. And then let's make it shake. Well, first I gotta pull that shit up, huh? All right. Un segundo, por favor. Y'all didn't know I was speaking that Espanoli. Now, let's pop that out. So I can see the real deal, the real chat. 'Cause you know the other shit don't be showing what I need to see. You know what I'm saying? So I can make sure I show y'all the proper amount of love. So who we got in here? Tony Texas, Tony Brass, Rolis Perez, Lucas Gomez, Darren Davis, Titans Up, Jason Ducey, Clutch Gaming. What's the motherfucking deal? HTX Savage, Moose Voodoo C, always good to see you. J-Poc, Brandon 335, always going live. Hector Rodriguez, No Fly Zone, what's going down? Phoenix, not only is he in the chat, he's in the motherfucking stream. That's putting in double time work. Gotta appreciate that. Ortiz, Joe Batista. Frank, what's the motherfucking deal? Modest Texas. Oh man, look, we definitely had to have a conversation about that. What's up, Heidi? What's the deal from the slum? That boy 335 going live. Man, I'm glad you said that, Darren. Let me get the bank cracking. You know, I know y'all wanna get it in. Jose Escamilla, what's the motherfucking deal? Shout out to Nuevo Laredo already. Buenos Aires, Argentina ain't winning shit. You was just saying Argentina was stinking it up. How they gonna be World Cup champions? Goddamn. Webster, Texas in the house. A-Leaf already. Tom Ball already. Let's see. Kareem Jackson spitting fire. Oh, baby. Okay, here it is. Let's see. Bray look like Draymond Jr. Goddamn.
Shit. Oh. So it's about me now. I mean, okay. First off, I didn't hear what happened pre-show. But we discovered that Phoenix went from Brock Osweiler to Logic in a matter of 2 months. I'm just saying. Go ahead and spit some hot fire. Drop that mixtape.
Well,
and after that, spit
you'll get some bars. Don't worry about that. All y'all getting some.
Drop some hot fire. But that's what's shaking, man. That's what's shaking, man. It's always good to see y'all, man. Sauce Nation, I love y'all, man. And it's always an enjoyable time when we get together and we talk a little sports about the city of motherfucking Houston. Shout out to Chandler. I see you hit me on the text line. Like I say, I have the sauce line activated in a bit. But if y'all want to text in early, you can always feel free to text in if you got questions, if you got opinions, whatever it may be, and we'll make sure to share those with everybody else. First and foremost, I hope y'all having a good Friday. Feliz Viernes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been working on my Espanol. Don't hate on me. We're going to talk about the Rockets, man, first and foremost, and some of the things that took place last night, some of the changes that will be going on with this team, and a couple of extra undrafted pickups that they made that I think we definitely need to keep an eye on. So let's just get into it. First and foremost, with the 46th pick, they had picked up DeAnthony Miller. But before we get into that, I want to say support your local independent sports media, because we heard all these rumors. We heard all this speculation. We heard all this shit that was going to happen. The Rockets are going to do this. They're going to do that. They're going to trade up for Grayson Allen. They working with this person and that person. And then, after the fucking draft, none of that was true. And I'm sort of saying, like, I don't understand. These people are supposed to be experts. These people are supposed to be insiders. These people are supposed to be, experienced and have all this information. But then the intel comes out worse off than when the fans just speculate with their own opinions. So, I mean.
Just go ahead. Let me, spit some on that.
Okay.
Something happened today. The introductory, press conference happened today to the rookies we drafted. Mm-hmm. And something came out and said that they had, packages and stuff. They had deals to get up in the 20 to 25 range. But they said it felt like it was best for them not to make any moves or that it didn't really gain any huge tractions. They had a deal for players to be moved. And matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. I got to eat crow, bro. I was totally wrong. We didn't trade up. Fuck them. We didn't draft Grayson Allen. But hey, at least the whitest player in the draft got drafted to the whitest city in the NBA. Just saying.
Look, they already forgot about Donovan Mitchell. They definitely are heavily in favor of that pick. So I know they're not tripping. They look. We got Grayson Allen. He's gonna be tripping for real. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think when y'all mentioned it last night, wasn't Grayson Allen? Didn't he trip Donovan Mitchell or something in college? And so now they're teammates. I wonder how that's gonna.
Donovan Mitchell slapped Grayson Allen. So yeah, they was fighting on the court before.
Okay,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Okay, so you think they're gonna squash all that to be professionals, or you think they're gonna box? I fear God, boy. What you think gonna shake with that? Let me put that in. I'm try to keep the minutes. Give me a second.
They gonna be
Phoenix. Yeah, I was about to say Phoenix. I really can't hear you, bro. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. But talking about the Rockets in the first pick and a couple of the other moves that they made, DeAnthony Melton. In the chat, I want y'all to drop some love, man. I want to know how y'all feel. I want to know with that 46 pick, considering where it was, and if y'all got a chance to kind of find out a little bit about him, I'll give y'all a brief overview here shortly. I want to know what y'all think about that pick on a scale of 1 to 5. I want y'all to rate that pick, what you think it is. Of course, it wasn't no top 10 pick. It wasn't no major name. But how do you feel Morey did with that choice and what else was available? Now, like I said, I'll give y'all a brief rundown. DeAnthony Melton, and I'll be talking about motherfuckers be taking look. What's up with these moms who just take a name, a regular name, and then throw a D in front of it? And then act like they didn't just created something brand new. I hate that shit. But, hey, I ain't going to hate on the man if he can be a contributor. That's just lazy name assignments. Hey, look, you ain't being creative. You being lazy than a motherfucker. But, anyway, like I say, DeAnthony Melton. Spent 1 year at USC. Had a little bit of drama. Some got caught up in a pay-for-play scandal, but we don't care about that. That's irrelevant to us. Stats saying about I've seen 6'3", I've seen 6'4". About 200 pounds, average in this freshman year, 8.3 points, 4.7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.9 steals, and 1 block a game. Now, this was in 16-17, and then he was honorable mention all Pac-12. With 69 steals, he led the Pac-12. Now, they said that the only person to kind of put up, I forgot the rest of the numbers, but he had some Dwayne Wade-like numbers, and then a lot of people are referring to him his likeness. I've seen a couple of people say they see some similarities between him and San Diego State Kawhi, and I can see where that comes from because he is a defensive first guy. Again, he's had a year off, so who knows how much time he's taken to improve his shooting, so I'm not going to make that a negative. Morey even came out and said that he felt if that kid would have played this year, he'd have been a top 20 pick. And if that's the case, and in Morey We Trust, hashtag. Do you think we got to win there?
All right. So at the moment, I was kind of disappointed because there was a player I really wanted them to grab at that spot, Jared Vanderbilt, native Houstonian. But after looking at it and after film and stats, they addressed a need, and that is long defenders. Pause. Yep. Pause that real quick. But I believe he has a 6'9" wingspan, I believe. So being 6'4", 6'9" wingspan, he's, he'll be out there, so let's say if somebody has to guard KD and Trevor Ariza is not here, he'll possibly be there because he's Until he got such a long wingspan, probably will disrupt his shot a little bit. Not too much because it's Kemah Durant. It's just nothing you can do about him. But I mean, this offseason he's have improved his jump shot. I mean, he has a new shot mechanic. It's different than what it was. So hopefully, if his ceiling is Kawhi Leonard, then hell yes, that's the steal of the draft. I don't care if Michael Porter Jr. was picked 14th overall. He was the steal of the draft if he becomes Kawhi Leonard like. As long as he don't do the shit Kawhi Leonard did with Spurs this offseason. This season. Just saying.
Yeah, and I do notice that he has a kind of a quiet personality, so that's definitely something you got to keep an eye on. And I saw the Avery Bradley and Marcus Smart comparisons. Marcus Smart, a little bit more out there, personality-wise. So I don't know if I want to put him in that
flopping ass bitch, man. Man, I can't get over that game, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, I do blame the Rockets for 27 points, but he was flopping all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. But this guy right here, like I say, he's definitely the defense first guy, and that's what I like. I think at this point, I think the Rockets made a smart move because if Trevor Ariza does decide to, fly the coop, you got a guy, and I heard some people trying to say, he's a Beverly replacement. I wouldn't go that far. What I'm saying is that I almost believe that he's probably better defensively, in my opinion, than where Beverly started out. Beverly was more of a pest in my book. Now, I'm not saying he was a bad defender. He definitely got up under people's skin more so. This guy is more elite level defense, in my opinion. That's my thoughts. Now, the Rockets made another move later on in the second round, and they brought my boy Cash Considerations out. You know what I'm saying? Pulled him out and said, hey, okay.
1.5. 1.5.
You know what I'm saying? They went and hollered at Utah. They say, okay, look, y'all already got that boy Grayson, y'all don't really need no more. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to worry about stopping fights between him and Mitchell. So let's go ahead and let us get that pick. And so they went and picked up Vince Edwards, okay, and a little bit on Vince Edwards. And then, like I say, with him I'm not as familiar with, but I do have a belief as to why they picked him up. And I'm not as familiar with fucking whatchamacallit either, but I'm just saying. And then when I see some of y'all mentioning the pickup of Rob Gray and the other kid, goddammit, Trayvon Duval. They ain't gonna say Duval.
And Gary Clark, AAC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay. And so what we have with Vince was a 4-year player at Purdue, 6'8", 225 guy. Was played 127 of 138 games in his career. Started 127. I'm sorry. Averaged in his last three seasons, or the last season, he averaged 14.6 points, 7.4 rebounds, 2.9 assists. But in his last 3 seasons, averaged right at 41% from 3-point range. And I think that, in my opinion, that's kind of the reason that the Rockets are entertaining that, because we love to shoot from deep. How do you feel about the Edwards pickup and the move that the Rockets made to get Edwards?
I didn't get it, honestly. I think he's going to be one of these guys who spends most of his career in the D League, Drew League, whatever it's called. I don't see him contributing much. I don't know why we paid to go and get him, honestly.
Okay. I feel like he was a pick for development and low risk, even though it's $1.5 million that we had to get rid of. I believe they feel like that he'll be a great value off the bench 2-3 years down the line, and possibly a good defender. I'm just not that sure about him as much as I'm sure about the Anthony Milton. But yeah.
Okay. Again, like I say, both these guys could be potential project guys. DeAnthony, though, I could see him because what they're wanting from him is more defense. And again, I think he could see some time. And again, we talked about mentioning that he has a new shot mechanic. The thing about shooting, if that's your weakest ability, now, I mean, let's not act like it's not important, but that's a thing that you can work on. And it's not like he was a bad shooter. That's not so I'm not too worried about Melton. But
I don't know. It said 28%. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, like I say, hey, they said he was an elite pick and roll passer. We do a lot of that. I say he's strong in almost every other area. So I think that's just something that they'll focus on. And if you don't have to teach a rookie to play defense, I think you're ahead of the curve in that situation. Now let's talk about the undrafteds. Okay. And Rob Gray, which is great because I was almost hoping they would pick him up one way or the other. So getting to stay at home here in Houston. The Duval kid, and he's about 6'3" and some change, and definitely an athletic specimen. And then you said Gary Clark, and he has a bit of a skill set. Go in a little bit more on Gary Clark because I didn't get a chance to get too much. Now that's a kid from Cincinnati.
Kid from Cincinnati. Throughout his career, I believe he played all 4 years. Mm-hmm. Every year he's improved his points slowly, like 2 points here, 2 points there, 2 points this. A final season he averaged 12 points per game, 8 rebounds. He's a power forward. At 6'9". He won AAC Player of the Year and AAC Defensive Player of the Year. He has a corner jumper, and he has playmaking ability at the post.
Okay. We're in championship mode. Fuck these guys. Like I said, I think these guys were adequate pieces. Because, I mean, let's think about it. The Rockets don't need any major pieces. They just need more depth. And so they can afford to put these guys in project mode. And if they're able to acquire or maybe get something, again, like I say, if Buddy can blossom into a something similar to a Kawhi, I'm not expecting that. I'm not going to put that on the wish list. But if he can get somewhere to where you got an elite defender, or if he can be an Ariza, I mean, that's really more so what you know. I mean, he might not be, his 3-point range may not be that. Maybe you get that from the other guy. Maybe get a little bit from both. But I have no worries because you still got to think about Hartenstein coming in, and I think he's going to be a contributor. I mean, from day one once he gets there. Zochi, I know a lot of people talk about like using him as an asset. Let's stop that talk immediately. And real quick, I want to touch on that. I saw somebody mention the CP3 situation. And all I really have to say about that is fake news. Because look at the bullshit that, I mean, just a couple of days ago, it was CP3 is purely focused on recruiting LeBron. He's not worried about his own free agency because he knows he's going to get paid. Like, either way. So, like Tillman has said before, they ain't tripping on paying Capella. They're not tripping on paying CP3. They want to bring a championship to Houston. And when you win championships, guess what? That investment that you put out, it comes back. And so you have no worries with that. So my thing is, I don't know about the Texans just needing depth. We need some confidence along that O-line, in my opinion. With the Rockets, I think you have a solid starting five that can compete with anybody, depending on whether Ariza's there or not. But even then, I still think we have pieces that could supplement that. But the Texans, we need some tackle action. I mean, and I think Davenport could be a little something. I'm just not 100% sold yet on that. Since we're talking about the Texans briefly, Darren. Let's talk about a position swap, a position change that has taken place.
Phoenix, this is the job right here, Phoenix.
Yeah. Because Phoenix has pulled the chair from under the ring, you know what I'm saying, and went upside the head of one Texan player. But we're talking about Kareem Jackson moving to safety. And now something we talked about, we mentioned it way back. We said that he's been practicing safety, but now he's going to be there full time. Now that brings a couple of questions, in my opinion. I want to know how y'all feel. And we've kind of discussed this before, but now knowing that he's full time, I mean, this is official because Bill O'Brien had an interview today and basically, certified it. If he's moving to safety, how much of that do you feel has to do with Hal, or possibly not seeing the growth or not having the expectations for Reed or Treston at that position?
I think it's just because they don't trust him at corner. I mean, since he's gotten paid, you can argue his career has gone downhill pretty quick. I mean, every year it seems like he's just given up more plays and more plays and more plays. And I just think I think maybe the final straw for putting him there was when Andre Howard got diagnosed with cancer. But it's a combination of things, though.
Okay, so there's multiple factors as to why they put him there. What about you, breaking news, Bray Bray?
I feel like they just said, man, we paid $9 million. We need something out of you right now, real quick. So it was just a move to see, like, if you can play safety, and congratulations, you'll get another contract from us. But if you can't, then deuces, you're gone. Bye-bye with that fat-ass forehead. And fuck you.
So y'all saying if you don't see Kareem Jackson perform with the standard, you guys feel like he will no longer be a Texan? This will be it for him?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that say?
Fans on Twitter disagree. They say he's been a great corner for us.
So my question is, though, and again, like I say, how do you feel like this has to do with the effect? How does this affect the development of Tristan Deku? Now, this is a guy that we've been talking about quite a bit and kind of keeping an eye on, a taller guy. You know, they moved him to safety early. Do you see him going back to corner, or do you think he's going to stay at safety with that taking place, or do you think he's going to kind of put him behind the 8 ball because there's going to be a couple of guys in front of him at that position, and as far as him getting experience and getting time to develop? How do you think that affects Tristan?
It kind of screws Tristan over because I think they still like Kevin Johnson at corner. And I think Kevin Johnson ends up being our number 2 for the season. And either Colvin or Jonathan Joseph will be back at 1. So he would be probably still in that 5th corner range if he stayed at cornerback. But he's still screwed because that safety room is pretty loaded right now.
Okay. So, is Tristan on this roster when the 53-man hits?
I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is. That's just me, though.
Okay. Interesting. Like I said, I think that he'll stay here because I mean, one thing you can't teach is height. And that's a guy that you definitely want to keep around. I think he can work with a little something. Like I say, we'll just have to see how he develops. Now, first of all, it's fucking Friday, right? And I haven't seen. What we got going on? Who said that I was too long?
That's some breaking news.
Oh, okay. What you got?
So apparently, it's this Las Vegas sports bettor professional senior advisor or something like that. And somebody said chances LeBron James, and somebody asked, the chances LeBron James lands in Houston. This guy says 0. Now, this dude, Chris, let me just say this. I don't know who he is or where he came from. I just don't believe him enough to say 0. Not even Chris Broussard likes having ass and trying to get ratings and shit.
We're going to talk about that.
I'm just saying. Dude said 0. So that's some breaking news for you.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of guys I follow on the social medias. Won't do too much name dropping, but one of them had a chance to run into Steven Jackson. And Steven Jackson's opinion, and it's been his opinion, that LeBron ain't fucking with he basically has him fucking with Cleveland still over Houston. You know, he's saying, you know, he makes $2 million a year extra hanging out in Cleveland. He can go double that going to LA. You know, why move his kids? Like, I don't know. In my opinion, it sounded like, again, opinion and speculation, and it's people putting themselves in other people's shoes. From what we've heard about CP3, LeBron doesn't have it. So I think a lot of people, they're taking these opinions and thoughts of others and running with it. Again, at this point, I'll be honest, like I don't feel like it's a high percentage chance that he comes here, but I don't think that it's just out of the question. If it's about money for him, then fuck it, go to LA. You're not gonna win shit in that bitch, and then you're gonna get railroaded by the Rockets and the Warriors, and then you can deal with that on your resume, and you won't be continuing your final streak. I guarantee you that. If he comes to the West, LeBron, and if he comes to the West, and it's not in the not in the Rockets uniform, LeBron's final streak is over with. Now, I personally think that's something that's on his mind because I feel like as a competitor, you know, he wants that legacy to to be fulfilled, because right now it's a losing winner's legacy. I mean, getting to the finals, what is it, 8 times in a row, 9 times in a row? That's a nice achievement. You got to respect that. But then to lose, then hey, I mean, shit. You know, what do they call it? The 3-6 Mafia now. You know, losing that many of them, you want to try to even that number out. You want to try to get that win column as close to that loss column as you can. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but if it's about the money, if he's like, fuck it now, I can't beat the Warriors, I'm just gonna cave in and go to LA, just collect some checks. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that too. You definitely got to do that. But let's talk about the hate. Let's talk about the shenanigans. And we're talking about people speculating and spreading rumors and just saying anything. Let's talk about the Chris Broussard situation. Now, you know, Chris Broussard, just like Upward Duck, a.k.a. Rising Phoenix, is light-skinned. So you got to be careful about the things that they say. You got to be careful if you're just going to go out and trust their words like that. I'm just saying, you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? But Chris Broussard was out there putting
racism.
Yes, I am a racist. I am an admitted racist. But the thing about that is, you to me, again, fake news, because just a moment ago or just a couple of days ago, it's the CP3's trying to get everything else together, trying to bring LeBron to the city. Now it's, oh, he's beefing with management. Oh, now it's a problem. I mean, where do they get this? Because again, these are the same people. Like when a person says per a source, I think I start at this point. I start tuning out. If you can't put a name on the shit, then I don't believe you. You fucking lying. You're making some shit up in your fucking hotel room to figure out how you're going to get some more attention, how you're going to get more people to pay attention to you today. Because right now...
Wait, so I had a question. So you don't believe Woj when he says per source?
Man, per source is just it's a suspect thing. Now, if it comes to fruition,
especially after last night and the job he did with them synonyms, that was so funny.
I'm not hating on Woj, because my thing is, if it comes to fruition, yeah. If it comes true, then okay, hey, he was right. I'll give him that credit for that. But when I initially hear per source, from a source, I'm just okay, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, what is this source? What is it? Again, now if they're right and they're correct, in hindsight, hey, that boy was on point. But a lot of these motherfuckers with a lot of these sources, you know, they end up ultimately being wrong. And again, like a lot of these guys, they pride themselves because they like that term. Oh, our foremost NBA expert. Oh, hey, look, I get to have a little bit more showtime. Let me say some shit that'll catch people's attention while they're looking at me, so people will come back and ask me more about this. Well, where did you hear about this? Oh, now another station's gonna wonder, well, what, you know, hey, tell us about the CP3. Like, come on, man. They do a lot of this shit to sustain their careers, because if they didn't have any juicy gossip to drop or some bullshit to drop, then they're unnecessary and nobody's paying attention to them. You know what I mean? So I really don't believe it. I mean, just as recently, what was in CP3 and Harden, when they just kicking it. I don't know about, like I said, I mean, CP3 may be an asshole, but I don't know him about him being a snake. You know, you just like, look, I don't know if he's gonna KD it. I don't see the KD in him. So again,
nah. But you know the funny part about that after that the conversation started to be like, the conversations was, well, what about CP3 in LA and Lakers? I don't believe that conversation, because he don't even have a house in LA no more. He has to buy a whole new house in LA and has to sell a new house he just bought in Houston after selling his old house in Houston. So a lot of this shit is just bullshit. I'm just saying, it's straight bullshit.
Okay. And that's another thing. Like I say, how does that feel going back to LA after you just left LA for a year? I mean, what does that say? How does that look? How does that feel? But let's play devil's advocate though. Let's talk about some things. What do the Rockets do? What moves can the Rockets make? What if CP3 says, I'm gonna go over here and hang with LeBron for a little bit. I'm gonna go to LA and fuck off a couple of years and call it a wrap. What position does that put the Rockets in, and what moves can the Rockets make to try to secure their future and get back to the Western Conference Final and try to win an NBA championship?
Well, that puts us in a position to possibly get a better player than Chris Paul. Now, this is Houston, and at that point, we now have picks that we're willing to trade along with Eric Gordon. And to me, I'm just saying, to me, as a player, I'm not saying as a leader and off the court and coaching and teaching players how to do this, some players want to do that. But player-wise and skill-wise, Jimmy Butler's better than Chris Paul. At that point, we could package a deal for Eric Gordon and some picks to get Jimmy Butler. And at that point, now we have possibly a better second option as players-wise, and he stays more healthy, and he's possibly a better defender, a more athletic, able to handle the 82 plus 16 plus games in the playoffs. So at that point, then, yes, we just know having James Harden puts us in a good position to get another star. If it's Paul George, or if it's Jimmy Butler, or if it's a Kyrie or Kawhi or a Klay Thompson, we are still in a good position because we have that guy who is arguably the third or fourth best player in the NBA.
Okay. So if CP3 leaves, does James Harden resume primary ball handling duties?
Yep.
He was still the primary ball handler, even with Chris Paul. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true. Chris Paul would come in and run the offense when James Harden wasn't. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, give me just a second. Let me get y'all some raffle action going here. Go ahead.
I think if Chris Paul were to leave and go somewhere else, it doesn't even matter where. I think James Harden would end up going back to point guard just because it makes sense, because I don't think we're going to find another point guard on the level of Chris Paul. Plus, there are a lot more shooting guards that'll fit our offense than there would be point guards. And I think it just makes sense. So if we were to go get a Paul George or a Jimmy Butler, or I doubt it'll happen, a Kawhi or somebody like that, it would make more sense to have Harden distributing from the point.
Okay. So let's talk about some moves that were made around the league last night. What was the most interesting pick, or what's the most interesting take that you have from last night's draft?
Can I, do two, because it only seems right the way it happened.
Go for it.
My first one is, at the moment, it was the Clippers trading their pick and passing on Michael Porter Jr. to get Shire Griez, whatever his name is, from Kentucky, I believe, the point guard. But then after that, it made sense, because they said that they don't know about the dude that they got from overseas, Milosevic, or whatever I pronounce his name, Patrick Beverly, with his contract not being guaranteed, and they have to deal with that. So they was like, man, we got to get our point guard, and they drafted a point guard. Well, not drafted, they traded for a point guard in the draft. And then secondly, Philadelphia trading Mikal Bridges away to the Phoenix Suns, making the Phoenix Suns look like a stupid roster within the next 3 years, with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and Josh Jackson and Marquise Chris and now Mikal Bridges. 76ers, I think they made a mistake with giving him up. But, we'll ultimately see.
Okay. All I know is I thought it was fucked up that the Sixers drafted that dude whose damn mom works for their organization and then traded him not even 2 minutes later.
Did they trade his mama?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, here's one. Something that happened last night. I seen a lot of people talking about old buddy's mom. The I can't even remember his name. The dude everybody was taking the hot MILF takes last night.
Oh, Luka Doncic. Oh,
Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic, mine, bro. Hey, bro, I'll take the trip down I-10 just for that reason.
Oh, goddamn. Speaking of sliding down I-10, old buddy Elfrid Payton Jr. Got picked up by the Spurs. He couldn't even wear his fucking hat. That was a real interesting thing. So that's.
Wait, now who's that?
I can't even remember his name. The dude with the hair.
It was Lonnie Walker.
Yeah.
His name was Lonnie Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that tall ass hair, and he just sat the hat on top of his hair.
Yeah, couldn't do anything. Now we got somebody's hit on the sauce line. And Chandler says, what's up with all the LeBron billboards? And I see a lot of people putting these up, and I've seen these things around town. And it's kind of interesting because is it really a waste of money? Because what if LeBron ain't sliding through town? What if he doesn't go down the street in which you put this billboard up? I mean, what if he's like, what is the purpose? Do you guys see that as something that would help sway a player? I mean, I'm sure it gets posted on social media and they get tagged in it, and it strokes the ego and all that good shit. But do you really think that has an effect on the decision that a player makes about the city that he wants to? What if your town is shitty, you just got one good billboard and you just put on the one good billboard? Like, you think that's going to sell somebody?
Okay, so first off, the position of the billboard is LeBron is not ever going to take a trip to Gulf Gate. He's not. He's not ever going to go to NASA Johnson Space Center. So first off, the placement of the billboard.
Well, LeBron wants to be an astronaut. What do you mean? He always wanted to be an astronaut. Well, go ahead. I'm fucking with you.
But I just think it's stupid to try to sway somebody now using that. But for Philadelphia is going out of their way now. I'm not gonna lie. First started with the billboard, and then they paid for a billboard in Cleveland. And after giving the billboard in Cleveland, they got airplanes with flags saying we want Bron to Houston and strive for Philly and all that, man. Yeah. Hey, Philly is doing a good job persuading as a city, but Houston just putting up a billboard is not going to work because it didn't work with Dwight Howard when he left Los Angeles.
Okay. And matter of fact, because I remember when Carmelo first came, they gave him the picture with Jeremy Lin number on it and all that shit. They had hooked it all the way up for him. So yeah, I definitely don't think that has a big sway on people's opinions and how they feel about coming to the city. So
hey, Jeremy Lin is the greatest point guard this city's ever seen. All right?
Yeah.
About that.
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck Jeremy Lin is doing. Look. I'm a dreadlock supporter. I'm always a person to say the dreads will make you better. But there is a disconnect in the Jeremy Lin situation. I don't think that applies. I think there's some scientific evidence as to why that won't work. But hey, it's you're stuck on a bus and you got to pee. That's very unfortunate. What's the motherfucking deal, Mr. Killer KB? But here's the thing.
That's tough.
Let's be honest and let's take our bias and our anger and everything out of it. This one more quick take. Does Kareem Jackson at safety, is he an improvement over his corner position, or does he play worse?
You want me to start with this?
I mean, feel.
It's your job to start with it since you wanted to attack him on Twitter.
I mean, I didn't say nothing wrong. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But
just saying your opinion.
Yep. Just speaking my mind. I'm an innocent fan. I don't do nothing wrong. No. But now he's gonna play better. But then again, it's not hard to play better than the shit we saw last year. So it's gonna be better.
Okay. Breaking news, Bray. Do you have an opinion on that?
I mean, when you have the ball in front of your face, it's not that hard to go and get it because you're just seeing and going. So I believe it's easier for him being a cornerback and being the person that's used to trying to get the ball. So hey. If it works, it works. If it don't, hey, we got Eric Reed and Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I think we'll see we have no choice but to see an improvement, or we won't see any Kareem Jackson. I think it's going to be very interesting with the picks that have been made, some of the other position changes that have been made. Hopefully it's catering to his strengths. They say feed Scotty, but feed the little Bray. But again, man, like I say, I think it's very interesting again because if they felt like this guy could have been a top-notch safety all this time, why not make the move prior to, or maybe hey, we do this and then we add some depth. I just have a lot of questions again because like I say, you just recently moved to Cood. You just almost know whose wife talking. Stop. You just moved to Cood and you've done a couple of other things, so that's what has me curious. But again, like I say, I have faith in Romeo Crennel, so I'm not too worried about it because I would assume that he would be the one, instructing that these changes take place as opposed to Bill O'Brien, since this is his defense and he's going to be putting guys in the best place to succeed. So I feel that Kareem Jackson will be an upgrade as a player at safety as opposed to being a corner. So I have no idea. Oh, that's awful. See, look now, y'all look now, y'all done took it off Scotty and put it on Bray Bray. See, look, that's what happened. I'll take that because I feed Scotty. Goddamn it. Anyway, Sauce Nation, friends, family, folks. I think we're gonna call it a Rapsky here. I ain't see y'all say fuck too much or nothing, so y'all must be living a life. Y'all must be feeling good, feeling great. I mean, I'm trying to scan back and see through. Ain't nobody said fuck nothing, so I guess y'all are definitely.
Hey, fuck all them fake ass Rockets pages that say we are huge fans. We gonna post news and shit. They be posting some old news, some news that don't matter, and all of that. And also, fuck Sports 610, fuck Radio Sports 16, because they done took off a good show on 790 and spreading them out because they got Adam Clanton. Although glad he's off for 790 because he was a Trump supporter and he was stuck on that. I ain't like him. He was too harsh.
And I know it's fucking Friday, but I just want to say shout out to my best friend, Kareem Jackson. I don't know if y'all follow me on Twitter or not, but we're best friends now. It's official. So,
yeah, hot take real quick. Where do you guys see Dwight Howard ending up when it's all said and done? I see somebody.
Warriors.
You see him going to war?
Warriors. That I don't want it, but that's how I see it.
Okay. I see Celtics.
Okay. So you actually y'all both see possible contenders picking Dwight Howard up, but do you see him being a starter coming off the bench, or do you think that's going to be a problem with personality, or how does that shake?
Depends on his mentality. If he's still got this mentality that he's a star center in the league, then he's going to go somewhere where they'll let him start and be some important piece to their team. If his mentality is, I don't really care about that, I just want to help a team get over the hump, then I think he'll go to one of these contenders. So that's why I'm thinking Warriors, because they'd probably let him start and be a key defensive piece for them.
Okay. Well, how do you feel? I know Dallas was saying some things last night because I know a lot of people expected Dallas to take Mo Bamba, and that didn't shake out. So I know that Dallas has been, they're saying, oh, we got options, we could offer Capella. Capella's not going to Dallas, so I'm not worried about that. So if anybody's asking that, don't worry about that. My thing is, what do you think the likelihood of Dwight ending up in Dallas might be? Do you see it as a possibility? Because they have, I think, they're interested in, I want to say Cousins, Capella.
It was like Cousins and Capella, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't see it. I mean, you could argue their best player is a second-year guard in Dennis Smith Jr. And if not him, it would be Dirk Nowitzki, who's, I think, 41 now. So, I mean, if it's about being somewhere he's familiar with and likes, sure, he might want to go to Texas again. But, Dallas is just... Okay. Well, folks, we're going to call it a wrap here. I think, we might have a little den later. Let's say, I forgot it's Friday. I mean, it's fucking Friday, and I forgot it's Friday. Hey, how about that? Let's say about 9 o'clock-ish, and then I'll probably maybe do a mixer late. Let's say about 9 o'clock. We'll get a Kush den going.
And we're going to talk about that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Homer, about Nick Young being a crackhead. We're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about fetishes and drugs. That's what we're going to talk about tonight in the Kush Den. It's going to be a real interesting Kush Den. So make sure you're out there. We're going to talk about fetishes. We're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about. We're just going to have a real interesting talk tonight. So make sure y'all there. Be there, like I say, 9 o'clock. We'll make it shake. Be in the Kush Den. If you're not a part of the Kush Den now, man, make sure you just put in kushden.com. It'll take you right there to where you need to be. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and all that other good stuff. So yeah, that'll be the takes tonight, man. Voodoo Child, appreciate the love. Hold on, we'll wait a couple more moments before we run. Yeah, you know what we're gonna talk about, Heidi. That one and many others. That weird shit that you tagged me in. I'm surprised those comments are still there. I'm finna go back.
Too much sauce.
FJags, GSW, Trump.
Oh man, they won't let you say fucking super chat. That's we gotta figure that out. Look, I want all the profanity. I want all the curse words. That's fucked up, man. Look, fuck you too with that bullshit. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all, Sauce Nation. Hey, y'all are the freshest motherfucking ingredients, man. Hey, look at this. Make sure you go and follow on the social media, Sauce Sports HTX on Instagram and Twitter, same name. If you fucking with the Kush Den and other things, you know, you can catch the Kush Den is _Kush Den on Instagram, and on the Twitter it's in the Kush Den, @in the Kush Den. And then it's Ed Honcho HTX if you're just fucking with your boy Ed Honcho on Instagram and Twitter. You guys want to shout out your social media so they can catch you on whatever platforms you guys promote?
If you want to
catch me on HTTP Nova 12. It's gonna be changing soon on Twitter. So if you want to follow me, probably fast.
see me troll, go to Ball Bulletin Now on Twitter.
So, Sauce Nation, again, like I say, y'all are the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the motherfucking world. I appreciate y'all again taking the time to fuck with the flavor, because time is the one asset that you can never recoup. And yeah, follow Heidi if you like weird shit. That's it. Like, that's on your own accord. If you like real weird shit, that weird German stuff, that's you. Enter at your own risk. I have nothing to do with that. But y'all are the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world, man. And I just want to let y'all know that I sincerely appreciate the time that y'all take to come and fuck with the flavor. I appreciate the love on all the other platforms, and y'all shoot me the breaking news and everything like that, man. It is always highly appreciated. And I don't want y'all to ever think that I take this shit for granted, man, because I don't. But with that being said, we're going to chunk up the deuce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Most of all, y'all stay saucy, and we out.